Let me guess, you have 100 things to do, new ideas to test, but somehow there is never enough time. You start the day with big plans, but before you know it, you are buried in emails and putting out fires. Again. I've been there myself because I treated my time like an employee, just checking tasks off my to-do list, trying to get through them faster than I was adding new ones. The more I tried to outwork the problem, the more stuck I felt. It wasn't until I started treating my time like an asset that we scaled to 8 figures, using the exact frameworks I'm going to share with you today. If you feel like time is slipping through your fingers, this video will show you how to take full control of your time, lock in your focus, and structure your schedule like the top sellers. Most Amazon sellers don't have a real schedule. They just react to whatever's urgent. I'm sure you have that one big thing on your to-do list, the thing that would actually move the needle. But somehow it keeps getting pushed to tomorrow and then the next day and the next. Because every time you sit down to work, something urgent pops up. And before you know it, the day is gone. And the important work is still untouched. So here's the thing. Your business will pull you into reactive mode if you let it. If you don't control your schedule will control you. And the only way to consistently get high-value work done is to plan it and protect it. So let's break down the 3 principles that will help you take back control of your time and actually focus on what matters. The optimal schedule starts with a single day. Let me be clear, it's not about working more hours. It's about working the right way within the hours you have. And that starts with understanding how to structure your days. These are the key principles that changed everything for me, and the first one is the maker versus manager schedule. There are essentially 2 types of work. Maker, that is your deep focus work, and manager, that is your reactive work. These are 2 completely different work modes that require different types of mental energy. The maker schedule is where we create value. This is when you are developing a new process, researching new products, creating plans, and solving complex problems. This is where growth happens. And here's the thing, deep work requires intense focus. Distractions will ruin the flow, so jumping between tasks kills your productivity. Think of it like taking a final exam. Would you stop midway to check your email? That kind of focus is exhausting and your capacity for it is limited, so you need to protect it. And here's how I do it. First, prioritize one high-impact task at a time. Use the one thing concept. Ask yourself, if I could only complete one thing today, what would actually move my business forward? That's your focus. Second, structure your deep work sessions. Use the Pomodoro technique, like 45-minute sprints with short breaks. The key is to set a clear focus time block where nothing interrupts you. Third, eliminate distractions before you start. Deep work isn't just about focus, it's about removing anything that could pull you out of your focus. So use noise-canceling headphones, play a focus playlist, and turn off all notifications. Because if you have Slack, email, and your phone buzzing, your deep work session is already ruined before it even starts. The manager schedule is where we make decisions, manage people, and systems. That's your emails, meetings, and all the simple tasks. This type of work requires you to switch your focus often, so to stay efficient, you need to batch all admin work, otherwise it eats up the entire day. Stack meetings back to back so you don't waste gaps in between, and follow a fixed order of tasks so nothing gets left open-ended. I like to see this as taming the chaos, so it doesn't spill over into my maker schedule. If you are finding this useful, hit like and subscribe, it really helps and I appreciate it. Now, the key is to get the most out of your maker schedule. That brings me to the second principle. Not all work is created equal. 80% of your results come from just 20% of your actions. That is, of course, the Pareto Principle you are likely already familiar with. But here's the real question. Do you actually know what your 20% is? The key is to regularly reflect so you can identify the 20%. And the best way to do that is to audit your time. Track how you are actually spending your time, not how you think you are spending it. Do this for a month and then review the data. You'll probably be shocked at how much time is lost to unnecessary tasks or things that could have been delegated. Once you have that data, it becomes clear what's actually driving results and what's just keeping you busy. The goal is simple. Identify the key 20% and double down on it. When you start actively cutting out the 80% that doesn't matter, you'll move faster without working harder. And now let's move on to the last principle. Most people assume that if they give themselves more time to complete a task, they'll do it better. But that's not always true. Parkinson's law states that work expands to fill the time you give it. Meaning, if you give yourself all day to complete something, it will take all day, whether it actually needs that much time or not. If you've ever had a deadline force you to work at lightning speed, you've seen this in action. You probably finished the same task in half the time just because you had no other choice. So the lesson here is simple. Time block your work and set shorter deadlines. By reducing the time available, you force yourself to work with focus and urgency, and you get things done faster. When you implement the maker versus manager schedule, you protect your deep work, making sure that your most valuable high-focus tasks actually get done. And by leveraging the Pareto Principle, you make sure you are working on the right things, the 20% of tasks that truly drive results. And by applying Parkinson's law, you set aggressive deadlines so that work gets done in the least amount of time possible, rather than stretching out all day. Put these together and you'll accomplish in 1 week what takes most people a month. And here's a quick pro tip. Train your team to work the exact same way. It's a complete game changer when everyone follows the same rhythm. Most sellers plan their work first and squeeze in their free time if there is anything left. But if you want to operate like an 8-figure seller, you have to flip that. Start by planning your free time. Because if you don't, work will expand to fill every available hour. And that's exactly how you end up burned out and frustrated. Once you've locked in your personal time, the next key shift is to set aside 1 full day per week to work on the business, not just in it. 1 day a week, no meetings, no operations, no reactive work. This is your CEO time to focus purely on making your business run smoother, more efficiently, and more profitably. If you don't set aside this time, you'll always be stuck in operations, handling the day-to-day instead of building something bigger. Next, instead of juggling 10 different projects at the same time, focus on one high-impact project at a time. Context switching kills momentum. The more you try to do at once, the longer everything takes. Identify the most important strategic project each week, the one thing that could actually move your business forward. Then block out your maker sessions to get it done. And lastly, the remaining time will be your manager sessions, your meetings, emails, and other minor tasks. Look, I get it. All of this sounds quite restrictive, and you started your business to have freedom. But the way I see it, freedom doesn't mean having no structure. It means you get to create the structure you want. Because without structure, your time gets pulled in 100 directions, and you end up working more, not less. But when you take control of your schedule, you work on your terms so you can scale your business while actually enjoying the freedom you build it for. Managing your time is one thing, but without a clear system for planning and prioritization, you'll still get stuck. This next video walks you through the exact planning framework we use to scale to 8 figures. One that only a fraction of sellers actually get right. So click here to watch it now.